This is the talk show that takes a no-holds-barred approach to politics, where truth and integrity are the standard and the Constitution honored. From Renaissance Studios, this is Champion News Talk Radio.
Welcome to another great edition of Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net, where you can get all of your latest political news. This is Carol Parisi reporting with our founder, Jack Roser. Good morning, Jack. How are you today?
Just fine.
Fantastic. Today, as our very special guest, we have the Lake County Chairman for the Republican Party, and his name is Bob Cook. Yes. And with a name like Cook, you're in Lake, that can be confusing for some maybe, huh?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, well, welcome, Bob. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks.
You know, you are the county chairman.
Yes.
And if you could have just 3 minutes, minute, whatever, to let our listeners know that don't know what the county chairman does and what that position means to them.
Well, first I meet with all the township chairmen at least once a month, but certainly on an individual basis more often. And
how many townships are in Lake County?
You put me on the spot right away, aren't you? Well, let's just say we routinely have 15 people that show up at our meetings.
Okay.
That are township chairmen, and we'll just go with that for right now.
Okay, all right.
But no, we have a lot of great township chairmen, and what we do is we work with the precinct committeemen, we recruit committeemen, and try to set a structure so that they will be successful and enthusiastic about supporting our candidates. And then I also meet with a lot of candidates, people that want to run for office, and talk to them about what they need, and question them a lot so that I get a good understanding of where they're coming from, and help them run their elections.
Now, is your position as the Lake County Chairman an elected position?
I am elected by all the precinct committeemen in Lake County.
Okay, now there's a difference with Cook County, correct?
Correct.
Where the committee, because this is a very confusing state, because Lake County elects each individual precinct committeeman.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Cook County.
On their own.
On their own.
Yes.
Cook County, the precinct captains are appointed.
Right.
And the township chairman, the township committeeman
runs,
are the ones that are an elected position.
Correct.
Now, how does Cook County also appoints a committeeman?
Yes, and in Lake County, we can appoint committeemen too for areas where somebody has not run. If we have an open seat, we appoint people.
But that's a precinct captain. That would be to the equivalent. But if there was
They aren't precinct captains except in Cook County.
Right.
And I well know, because I used to live in Arlington Heights in a new area. And so I organized in the next voting thing, I organized the Republicans, and we got through the election. Right after that, I was a precinct captain, and I was fired.
You got fired from a volunteer position?
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, my goodness. You're a rebel rouser, Jack.
Well, so I started concentrating on the school district, District 59, and I became a skunk at a picnic, because these guys were reveling in big dough and bad education, and I made things a little tough for them and defeated them in a referendum and so forth. But as in Cook County, I was fired as a
precinct captain.
Precinct captain.
So you are the county chair.
Yes.
Is how that is. And then you have committeemen for the townships.
Yes.
Now how, and underneath the township committeemen, there's precinct committeemen, correct?
Well,
for each different precinct that goes into the township.
Yeah, precinct committeemen for the township, and then they elect the township chairman.
Okay.
And then they all because all township chairmen have to be precinct committeemen, can vote for the county chairman.
Okay.
Last year, the Central Committee changed the rules on how the election, after the real election for people that are going down to state, we have an election for the party, within the party.
State committeemen.
State committeemen.
Correct.
And in the past, we had a lot of trouble with that because the chairman would vote the empty precincts.
Yes.
So it was to the advantage of the chairman to never fill a precinct.
Well, I
because-
disagree with that, though.
Oh.
I refuse to vote the empty seats, and I think it's to the advantage of the chairman to fill those seats with good precinct committeemen.
Well, and
but
now-
I do know that, I know your point. Some people didn't feel the need because then they had all those extra seats to vote.
And a year ago, 2 years ago actually, there was a big fight on.
Kane County.
Yes, in Kane County, there was a big fight on because the chairman voted the empty precincts, and that was definitely changed the whole thing around and got a lot of people angry. Consequently, we got I had an attorney write the rules that knew all about this stuff, and he saw two things. One of them was the chairman could not vote the empty precincts. But instead, the empty precincts would be voted in the same proportion as the other precincts that did have voted-in people. So that stopped this business of being to the chairman's advantage to have empty precincts that he alone could vote. So we changed that can't do that anymore, which got is proportional voting. So that stopped a big evil. The next thing Brady promised that, Pat Brady did, that we would get that. He promised me also that we would get a paper ballot election of the committeemen for voting for their leader. That they would get a secret ballot is what it amounts to. And so that freed them up to vote their conscience. And now we didn't get that. Pat Brady wanted to, surprisingly, Pat Brady came around on this without any pushing. And so we got the major part of it, and the other part, the Central Committee demurred. Later on, I'll get into how they, once again, in this recent meeting, screwed up with Rutherford, who had no standing there, managed to create a situation that got the wrong result for the Central Committee. But I'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later in the show. But now, I like what you said, Bob, about you like to have committeemen. You will appoint
Absolutely.
someone
Yeah.
because clearly that is where elections are made.
Yes.
When people get out and speak to the voters about the candidates and the issues and getting out the vote, because getting out the vote is so important. As we saw in the last election cycle with our Congressman Joe Walsh, 291 votes.
Yep.
Every vote counts to get those people engaged, to get out the vote. It's a great thing.
Let me just say that precinct committeemen going out, knocking on doors, handing out literature, and precinct committeemen that know the candidates is the most cost-effective thing we got going for us. It is the biggest help to our candidates that we can do.
Now,
Yep.
what do you,
That's what makes the Republican Party worthwhile, is they've got people out there representing the very good, what do you call it, platform?
Yeah.
The Republican Party has got a terrific platform here in Illinois. And when you get committeemen that are devoted to and are free men, because they can't be thrown out like they can in Cook County.
So they can have their own opinion.
Yes,
Absolutely.
which empowers a Republican committeeman in Lake County and all of the other counties except Cook.
Yeah.
well, and
We got the good Cook here in Lake County.
We got the
Well,
good cook
thanks.
with us.
Thank you.
So now in the city, there's something called wards, which is the ward people are like the precinct captains in the suburban Cook area. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. I used to live in Chicago, and I think we were in the 51st ward.
Okay.
So
Sticking to Lake County here, you had the most unusual election with Joe Walsh.
yes, we did.
Nobody thought this guy could get elected, but I personally know that you took a good attitude about that, and as you saw that there was a fair election run, and
He was the choice of the people. Our job is to support that choice. Too many people think their vote doesn't count. If we tried to get him kicked off the ballot over stuff,
and there was a tough, I'm not going to name names here, but there were a couple of prominent people from Cook County that tried to throw him out, and I well know.
you were at the meeting.
I forced my way into a meeting and was allowed to stay.
But you know, the thing that I was really proud of for the township chairman is we came together and said the people's votes count. So
Well, you know what? I think that we're going to be talking more about the people's vote counting
continue this.
and the Joe Walsh miracle when we come back after the break. Stay with us.